It's my brother.
Hey, how's it going?
Out here at sunset, driving up to
Highlands.
Fort William. Caught the sunset. Beautiful country. My brother going up to Nevis. There you go. It's a trekking pulse. Beautiful day. Beautiful day in the Highlands.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna get way steeper for you, I think.
Okay.
It's part of the Ben Nevis Ultra course.
Oh, yeah.
Be coming down this, I think. Wow, what a beautiful day. Sun's out, blue sky, sunny. Day before the Ring STEALL race. Beautiful day. Hey, buddy. How's your day going? Don't worry, I'm vegetarian. You have a good day. Keep it real.
Yeah, I'm running down a dream that never would come to me. Working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. Running down a dream.
From the start, Lock 11. Can't pronounce it right. Beautiful day.
Nice job. Nice job, Sage. Keep it up. Nice.
Sleep, don't visit, so I choke on sun, and the days blur into one, and the backs of my eyes are with things I've never done. Sheets are swaying from an old clothesline, like a row of captured ghosts over old dead grass. There's never much, but we made the most. I've gone I've gone ships are launching from my chest. Some have names, but most do not. If you find one, just let me know what piece I've lost. Heal the scars from off my back. I don't need them anymore. You
Nice job, Sage. You're fifth place. Nice job. Fifth place.
them in your mason's jar. I've gone
Nice job, Sage. Nice job. Just kick it in. You're still in eighth. You're good. There's no one behind you. Close. No, you're good. You're fine.
Alright, so just finished the Ring of STEALL, 8th place overall. Yeah, it was tough. I was out pretty hard, got up to 5th or 6th place at one point, then kind of faded on the second climb. These guys are really tough, but congrats to Judith, who set the amazing women's course record, and Nadir, who won the men's race, and all the guys all the finishers out here. It was a beautiful sunny day. Actually got pretty hot and thirsty. I was drinking a lot in my Nathan thing here. Took a lot of Spring Energy, all 8 of my Spring Energy gels, and yeah, just fell a lot on the way down the last descent. It got really muddy there. A little bit of blood. Compressed sport calf sleeves, but the Hoka Torrents held up, and I think I punched my ticket to Nepal, so I think depends how some of the other guys did, but getting top 10 overall was pretty much put me in a lock for top 10 in the Golden Trail Series, so really happy with that performance, and really honored to be out here in this beautiful landscape. Really challenging trails. The course was harder than last year. I'm just happy I didn't fall and hurt myself, so thanks for your support. Stay tuned for more.
Ooh, quads are still a little sore. Obviously back in the US about 5 days after the Ring of Steel race. You saw the footage there. Thanks to everyone, people who shared the pictures with me, and my brother who traveled with me to help crew and film. It was great there having him on the adventure. Wish we could have spent more time in Scotland. Beautiful weather around race day, sunny and actually warm, which I assume at this time of year is relatively rare. Last year when I did the race, it wasn't too bad last year either. It's pretty mild because you have to carry all these jackets and long sleeves and a bivy blanket thing, and a lot of like cold, hats and gloves, which you would need if it was really cold and rainy, which it easily could be September in Scotland in the mountains, right? Because you're going up these big climbs, basically 2 big climbs on the course, but only 17-mile race. I think it was 29K, but a lot of climbing, like 7,000 feet of climbing. I'm trying to think what that is in meters. 2,000 meters? No. Yeah, 2,200 meters about. So and technical, and I forgot how technical it was. So it was great. I was really happy. I knew going in that, pressure's a privilege, pressure was on. I had to be top 10. I actually probably didn't have to be top 10, but I told myself, you got to be top 10 to stay top 10 overall in the Golden Trail Series international ranking. Very competitive this year, even more competitive than last year. We got, guys like Kilian Jornet and the guy who won the race, Nadir. Amazing athletes, amazing athletes on the women's side too. Actually, the women's is more dense with the top scoring numbers. If you look at it, you have to get more than 3 top 10 finishes basically in 3 different races over the series. And it was hard. They're all mountain races, but this is the most technical one. Coming off Sarah's and Nolan Pikes Peak, those are kind of non-technical, but they're all mountain races. They're all pretty hard. A lot of guys had to bounce back, and you're trying to just do well consistently in 3 sets of races to maximize your score. And so, I had no margin for error. I couldn't screw up. I couldn't fall and hurt myself. I'll get into that. And yeah, it was top 10. I got 8th place in this race. It actually moved me up to 7th place overall in the ranking series. Won that trip to Nepal. It was also 5,000 euros on the line for being a top 10 person in the series, as well as being able to take a special guest to Nepal, as well as travel support throughout the series. Thanks to the Golden Trail Series for that support. It makes it lucrative, and it makes it competitive and exciting, and I get this amazing opportunity to travel to these beautiful places in the world. And I'm forever thankful for that. And you see the same people over and over, so you make great friends. They're also your competitors, though, in these races. But lots of interesting people doing the race. I met a lot of you from Scotland, a lot of people from, well, all over the world, really, but a lot of more local people going to their big mountains, and they are big mountains. But you can see the footage there. You got the beautiful landscape, and I felt really good about my race. It wasn't as good of a performance as Pikes Peak, I'd say. It also isn't kind of in my wheelhouse as much, right? Pikes, I had home course advantage, didn't have to travel, didn't have to overcome the jet lag. I got into, I flew into London first and spent the night, but it's only like 3 days before the race, and then a pretty long drive up from Glasgow after flying from London to Glasgow. So just like, I don't even think I adjusted to the jet lag before the race, but 10 a.m. start, not too bad, and 3.5 hour effort. Not too bad, except I was hurting. I'm not gonna lie. Like, physically, I felt a little, I don't want to say burnt out, but I've been riding this low mileage, high intensity, intentionally, all this summer, because like I said, you have to be racing consistently, you have to be racing frequently. I hit the reset button after Mont Blanc for a little while, but I didn't really have very much time to really get a big aerobic base. So this whole summer, this whole mountain season summer, which has been very successful actually, I turned things around after Mont Blanc, has been riding off the aerobic base that I set, mainly training for Comrades, and even before that training for the Rotterdam Marathon. If you look at my Strava, you could see all these 100-mile weeks, 160K a week, right? big volume, and then all of a sudden it kind of drops off. And the last 8 weeks, I've averaged like 58 miles a week, under 100K a week in training, basically the whole last part of the summer. And part of it's because, you know, before Pikes I'm tapering, after Pikes I'm tapering. I got to take a couple days off after racing a trail marathon. So, and I've been focusing on the good running form, the glute activation, high intensity, hill repeats and things like that. Gets you in shape really fast. It's not sustainable long term though, right? You could only have three really great races all in a row and be at peak fitness for so long before you just have to say, okay, I got to reset the aerobic system, or reset the aerobic base, rest and recover, but then reset the aerobic pace with consistently high mileage. And you know, for me it's all relative, because for you running, you know, 58 miles a week, 95K a week, that might be peak volume and get you in great shape. You might be able to go get a BQ in the marathon or something like that if it's the highest volume you've ever recorded. For me, that's relatively low volume. I was running that much when I was 15 years old, and I've been running a lot more than that. But it shows kind of the trade-off between not tiring yourself out too much with slow plodding and high mileage. I got a little worn down, but I also think it was mainly getting sloppy with my form and getting too far away from the speed work, especially the muscular strength, and doing the hex bar deadlifts, doing the high intensity speed sessions, high intensity hill reps has helped me capitalize on that with better running form. That's helped my efficiency in the mountains for at least the second half of this summer season, which has been a successful campaign. My goal going in was to make the top 10 in the Golden Trail Series. I was a little worried about it. I thought, gosh, it's not going to be possible. After doing so bad at the Mont Blanc Marathon, I almost gave up. But, you know, able to rally with 11th at Sierre Zinal, and probably the greatest mountain race in history at Sierre Zinal, a legendary, most competitive mountain race, and then getting second at Pikes was really the low score that really helped me carry this momentum into Ring of Steel. But still had to execute, still had to finish. And in the second half, you see I moved up into 5th place early on, and then I started fading. I was taking in a bunch of spring energy. I probably could have taken in more. I drank all my drink and I was out, and it was pretty warm. I like it toasty and warm and sunny and dry, but there were still muddy bog sections, and the Ring of Steel, the rock scrambling, I was really struggling on. I got passed by a couple guys there, and then on the final descent I actually fell twice in the last 3 miles. In the last 5K, fell really hard. There's a guy filming me with the GoPro. I'd like to see that footage actually, because it was pretty bad. Like I was like, okay, just don't twist your ankle, don't fall and get stitches and take yourself out of the race, because you've got a top 10 locked up here if you could just finish efficiently in these last couple of miles. Well, hit these technical mud bogs in the last couple miles of descent, splat right down on my shoulder. You know, my COROS Vertex watch was so jammed up with mud I couldn't even stop it at the finish line because it was so jammed up with mud. And I'm covered in mud, but when I fell, my muscles in my legs would cramp up. And fortunately, and this happened to several people I know, and it's happened to me several times, you hit a rock on the way down, you hit a big sharp rock, and you're gashed. You're gonna have to get stitches, sutures, stitches, because you're bleeding too much, and you're gonna, you know, get infected, and you know, that kind of thing, or an ankle twist, ankle break, bone break for that matter, that could take you out of the race. And so I was like, just don't fall so that you hurt yourself so much that you can't finish the race, or set yourself back for weeks and weeks and weeks because you break your bone, or I mean, there's some parts you could technically probably fall and die in that race. It's that extreme. So glad to survive, glad to finish. Couldn't thank my sponsor enough, title sponsor Hoka One One, but all my sponsors, couldn't thank you enough for all your support, making this dream come true, making this all possible on here, all your YouTube views, subscriptions, Patreon supporters for really making this possible. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it, as well as you know, Sandy and my family, and yeah, just it's been a team effort, and I'm really excited to be able to go to Nepal. It's always been a dream. You know, do feel a little guilty about the plane flights and the climate change. I'm not going to get into that too much. I am aware of how much plane flights pollute, and so yeah, I'm kind of a hypocrite in that regard. I'll admit to that. I did donate $500 to TerraPass for carbon funding, or carbon offset programs, to try to minimize the impact, but it's like, okay, you know, it'd be better to just fly less, right? But, you know, I want to put my money where my mouth is, so I donated $500 from personal money to that. Probably should donate more carbon offset. It's just better not to create that excess pollution. And it's a hard thing, you know. We all got to make little cutbacks in our lives, or big cutbacks, I should say. Especially for people like me, who've been very fortunate to be able to travel so much and to be able to live a life of luxury where I don't have to worry about clean water and clean food or putting enough clothes on my back, like a lot of people in the world out there who are really suffering. And it's, you know, it's the people near the oceans who live more in poverty that are probably going to suffer the most from you know, a rise in sea levels and the climate change, more extreme weather patterns that could result in the future if we don't turn things around. So you know, next year, yeah, maybe I'll try to cut back on the flying a bit. It's been a bit excessive, I'll admit to that. You know, we all have things, I think, we pollute and do these things, and yeah, you know, I try to be sensible with diet and the efficiency of streamlining a more plant-based diet. I believe that saves a lot of energy, but at the same time, as well as like living in a small space, but at the same time, you know, I'm a big hypocrite if I'm flying all around the world all the time and it's polluting quite a bit. The transportation sector, animal agriculture sector in the US, is relatively close actually in emissions numbers, but that's just me trying to justify it in some way. But if you look at the data, there's a lot in the food sector that efficiencies need to be streamlined, and food shortage across the world. But you know, want to get you big footage from Nepal. I digress there, sorry about that. Going off topic. We'll get you more footage training for that, as well as some of my next races. It will be in late October, October 25th, or it's around there, was when we're racing the Annapurna Marathon on the big mountains, high altitude push. It's going to be great, so thank you so much. I'm going to stay tuned on here for more training talks, training tutorials, as well as vlog updates like this, maybe what I eat in a day, things like that, still on the plant-based vegan diet. Thank you so much again from the bottom of my heart. Hope your running's going well, and be sure to subscribe on here for more of these types of videos. Check out our training plan website, Coach Andy and I have training plans, sagerunning.com, any service, any distance. Thank you again. Stay tuned for more.